Hi, everyone. Thank you all for being here today, both in person and virtually. I'm Tori Rezick, and I'll be introducing our speakers and musicians this afternoon. I'm Owen's big sister. Some people only recently found out that I'm Owen's sister. You might be finding out literally this second. That's okay. Owen and I have a big, weird family, and the family tree can be kind of hard to trace, so we won't try today. Owen became my brother when I was 15. Our first Christmas together, my teenage self was trying to figure out what to buy for a boy. I kind of only knew a little bit. Lord of the Rings had just come out. I had a driver's permit. I was in a Hot Topic, and I panicked. I ended up buying this boy a Legolas pillow. A throw pillow, beautifully embroidered with the face of Orlando Bloom, and elvish writing, very dreamy. Christmas morning when Owen opened this gift, he looked at Megan like, oh, Mom, do I have to keep this thing? That Christmas was a little awkward, but he kept that stupid pillow. It is one of my truest joys when I discover people who are just finding out that Owen is my brother. That is never, ever awkward. I will never get tired of hearing, "You're Owen's sister? I love Owen. I love Owen too, and I love that you love him." I now know there are so many other people that call Owen brother. If Owen is your brother, I'm your sister now. So welcome to the Big Weird family. Owen touched so many people with a song, a smile, a coffee, or a cocktail. Owen's memory shines bright in our hearts and our minds. The world is a little bit darker without him now. As the stories and photos and warm wishes poured in over the last few days, it's clear that there is a growing and glowing, bright constellation of people all across Des Moines and beyond who love Owen. No matter where you are, despite distance or time or circumstance, you are a vital and bright part of this constellation. Owen's star is dark now. It feels like a hole in the heart. It feels like a hole in the sky. I'd like to take a moment together in silence. And in this moment, I ask you to help me fill that hole just a little bit. Shine as bright as you can for Owen for just a moment. Thank you all for that moment. Owen's stepmom, Heidi Berg, would like to share an Irish blessing with everyone. Heidi.
Wow. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your fields, and the rain fall soft upon your fields. Till we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
Thank you, Heidi. I'd now like to welcome Owen's dear friend, Allison, to share a few stories.
Hi, everyone. I've known Owen for quite a few years now. We got really close over this last one. He was our Kramer when Tony and I lived in the same building as him and Nick. Whenever we asked if he wanted to come up to have some pasta or watch a few episodes of King of the Hill, he'd be up the stairs in just a few minutes, pockets and hands full of ahas, and always reaching back just like a second too late to catch our door before it slammed. He's my best friend, my sober buddy, everyone's favorite coworker. There are an insane amount of inside jokes and stories. I know a lot of people here feel that same way. I wanted to share one about a time that a lot of people remember, when the only thing Owen thought about was catching marbles. He had seen this really tiny black and white cat with bright green eyes and a little pink nose running around on Ingersoll. It's absolutely freezing outside, but he'd go and look for him every night until he brought him home. We'd be hanging out at GT, and he'd just stare out the window until he'd get up and just like, I'm gonna go look for that cat now. I worked at Star Bar at the time, and they let me take a piece of raw tuna to try to bait him with. But Marbles, also known as Marby, Pink Nose, and Mr. Pink Nose, he'd just run away anytime we got close to him. But Owen didn't give up on finding him. He ended up borrowing a live trap to catch him with. We caught the wrong cat at first. When he finally did catch Mr. Pink Nose, the only time you could see Owen was if he was at work, if you went to visit him and the boys. All live in Marbles. He was always like that. When he had a new interest, just totally focused on it. Live trapping a stray cat or practicing a new skating trick over and over until he landed it. Or learning the riff from Licking Stick on bass. He and that little kitty gave each other a lot of love. I also wanted to share a little bit about our brunches at Drake Diner and our trips to Target. If you've ever asked Owen if he wanted to get brunch or lunch with you, he probably said yes. If the special looked really good that day, we might go to Lachelle's, or if we needed to go to the antique store in Valley Junction to get the farm fresh eggs, we'd go to St. Kilda. Sometimes if we couldn't decide, we would just come over to my house and make a veggie hash for us. But usually we went to Drake Diner. About once a week, sometimes more. One of us would call the other one. I would go pick him up. Owen hated serving brunch for the same reason he loved going to it. It's because everyone has to have like 3 drinks on the table. So we go get our waters, coffees, orange juices, and a smoothie to split too. Sit and eat our greasy food, catch up on work gossip, and just laugh with each other. When we'd finish up, one of us would ask if the other was about ready to go fuck up Target. Owen always needed to stock up on bubbly water, so we'd pick those up, and a couple other things we needed. Usually a lot of stuff we didn't need. We hit the candle section pretty hard one day, smelled all of them, until we found the ultimate scent, which is the sandalwood and smoke woodwick candle, if you guys wanted to know. Sometimes we'd split up. I'd look at clothes, and he'd go look for a new scary video game to play. He's really excited. This day he bought a virtual reality headset. He told me not to tell anyone because he thought it was really embarrassing. I saw the picture up earlier. It's a pretty good one. Every one of those days really meant a lot to me. So much fun being in the same room as him, because I could never be in a bad mood around him. Just seeing his big smile made me smile too. Thank you, Owen, for getting me out of bed on days I didn't want to, making fun of me until I felt better. Thank you for letting me watch Futurama on your couch when I had extra time to kill before work. Thank you for showing me some of my favorite songs and for picking up a guitar whenever there was one around. Thank you for making us all lattes, even when you were busy. You had really mastered your phallic latte art over the last few months. Thank you for introducing me to your mom and to a sober knitting club when you found out I quit drinking. Thank you for coming to have a hot water after work with us, even if it was just because the girls made you. Thank you for coming to big lunches and outings with 8 or more of us at a time, even though it stressed you out to be a part of a really big, annoying table in a restaurant. Thank you for knowing all the best spots to get food. Thank you for hearing me when I needed to talk. Thank you for being a friend to everyone you met. Thank you for saying "love you, Al" every time we got off the phone. Love you too, Owie.
Thank you, Allison. I'm going to grab a spare tissue box for the folks up here. Thank you, Allison. I know there's a lot of brunch stories and food stories and just shooting the shit stories, and we really can't get enough of them today. So, Allison, thank you for starting us off and sharing those. Next, we'll have Taylor, Owen's friend and musical collaborator. He's going to share one of Owen's original songs.
Megan asked me if I wanted to play a song for Owen, and I thought it would be fitting to play one of his own songs. So this is a song called "Dried Up Well." It's a cheap bookshelf put together yourself, traveling. It's the sound of the glass slipping from your hand, shattering. It's the voice in your head, wide awake in bed, babbling. It's the ones you loved underneath the rug when you're stuck setting out on an endless roundabout. When you should be looking in, looking hard at yourself. Are you tired of crying for help? Trying to drink from a dried up well. When the hand you've bet's had enough of it, she's not answering. When the ones you love hovering above like storm clouds are rattling, so you self-destruct in a pickup truck while the rain it keeps on battering. Well, hope's a crutch when it's all too much. Trouble keep on balancing, setting out on an endless roundabout. When you should be looking down, looking hard at yourself. Are you tired of crying for help? Trying to drink from a dried up well. Oh, just push it all down again. Feel it squirming underneath your skin. Just push it all down again underneath your consciousness. Setting out on an endless roundabout. When you should be looking in, looking hard at yourself. Are you tired of crying for help? Trying to drink from a dried up well.
Thank you, Taylor. We're going to have a couple more musicians play today. Please applaud. We all need it, so feel free. Megan, Owen's mom, would like to say a couple words, maybe? Okay. Do you want me to say?
Thanks. Thank you, Tori. I just, I wanted to thank everybody for being here. Tori had said we have a complicated family, like a lot of people do. And when Owen was really tiny, I had decided that the more people who love your kid, the better they are. And the amount of love and outpouring that I've felt this week just reiterates that. So I just wanted to thank you all for being here, and I appreciate all the kind words. The whole family does. We appreciate all the kind words and all the love and all the stories and all the photos and the songs and the playlists that you've sent us this week. It means a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, just the outpouring of, again, these connections that we're discovering, some of us. It's really been overwhelming and so supportive. So thank you. I'll echo again. Thank you so much for everything that everyone has shared. We'll have James and Dustin, Owen's teachers and mentors. They're going to play a song here for us by Jimi Hendrix.
Dustin wasn't able to be here. He lives in Creston, Iowa, which is already unfortunate, but then you combine that with a snowstorm and that kind of, there's that. So. Well, she's walking through the clouds, the circus mind, it's running wild. Butterflies and zebras and moonbeams, fairy tales, riding with the wind. When I'm sad, she comes to me, 1,000 smiles she gives to me free. It's alright, she said, it's alright. Take anything you want from me. Anything. Well, she's walking through the clouds, the circus mind is running round. Butterflies and zebras and moonbeams, fairy tales, riding with the wind. When I'm sad, she comes to me, 1,000 smiles she gives to me free. It's alright, she said, it's alright. Just take anything you want from me. Anything.
Thank you, James. In preparation for this service, we were asked to select a few songs, a few photos, and a few stories to share. I kept thinking, a few songs? It's impossible. There's just too many. We got, I think, a day's worth of songs on a playlist that some friends shared. But we still had to figure out, how do we distill this boy who was made of music down to just a few songs? And a few photos, a few stories, there's just not enough. There's never going to be enough. Never enough laughs or hugs, and never enough middle fingers snuck into a photo. Thank you so much to those of you who helped us gather the parts and the pieces for this service today. It means the world. The rest of the service is going to be kind of a loose open mic. Folks are welcome to share any stories you might have. Owen's father, Gary Geiken, is going to be the first to share. To start us off, Gary.
Tori gave me a really nice segue. Thank you. You didn't know. It's already comforting to know how well Owen was known. But it's a story that's given me a lot of fun and comfort, if fun is the right word in these last days, so here it is. You've seen the romantic cover shot of Owen looking out at the ocean in the tribute or in other places. Really romantic, thoughtful, right? Well, we took that photo in California, and I say we, I had the phone, but the trip was because of Heidi. And it was a great trip, 100 stories there. But I grabbed that photo, and the very next photo that I grabbed looks pretty much the same, except you have to imagine there's Owen looking off into the distance. And then he looks at me and he flashes that wicked smile. You know the one, right? And he flips me off. And I've got that recorded for posterity too. So no, there aren't enough stories to capture everything and all the music and the joy and the compassion. But I wanted to be sure that that was out there too. I echo everything that Megan said. Thank you. Everybody that's not in the room, but here, I think I see the camera. I can't add to that. I can't add enough thanks. I can't tell enough stories or give you enough appreciation. James and everybody, thank you. I have one more. You're just going to have to bear with me. I'm sorry. And there's never a right time. Tony, you took Owen through so many moments. You were dad in so many moments. You're such a decent man. Thank you. Okay, so I want your stories. I want them very, very badly. We have our stories, and we'll share them all the time and forever. I'll get out of the way, but I have two things left. I spoke these words when my father died, because I don't have them. I just don't have the good words, and so these were better. I spoke them again when Heidi's father, my second father, passed away. I hate saying them here. I hate it. So for Owen, I changed it because I've grown because of him in so many ways. And I think he'd appreciate it. So, Owen, Spirit, Owen, I took goddamn Shakespeare and neutralize the pronouns for you, you progressive son of a bitch. When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I, all alone, beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like them with friends possessed, desiring this one's art and that one's scope, with what I most enjoy, contented least. Then, in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee. And then my state, like lark unto break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered, such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. Love each other right now. He existed. We're better because he existed. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. We are all a little better because Owen existed. I know a lot of people are joining us virtually and weren't able to come here in person today. I know there's a lot of people at the back of the room. Thank you for standing. This room is full, so full of love right now. I want to share a story that was sent to me on Facebook from some of Owen's friends. I don't have my phone, so I'm going to try and do it off the top of my head. So this was a story from Brian and Sarah Vanderpool of the Well Pennies. Am I getting the names right? Someone please nod and tell me those are the right names. Thank you. Brian and Sarah met Owen when they first moved to town, I believe in 2017. They would go into Eatery A, and Owen would make them super bougie cocktails and hang out. As we all know, Owen loved music, loved local music, loved supporting his fellow musicians. I guess there was a reporter in Eatery A one day, and Owen's telling this reporter, "Oh, the Well Pennies, you got to listen to the Well Pennies." That ended up being a Washington Post reporter. And so they had an article in the Washington Post. After that, they got picked up on NPR. Owen helped get their music out and into the world for more people to love. Brian recalls seeing Owen at rallies, and he will be missed by both Brian and Sarah. So I wanted to make sure we got that shared. Is there anyone else who wants to share? Dad, this is my dad, Tony Rezick.
Thanks, Tor. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do this, and if I was going to do it, I wanted to do it early on. So the first time I met Owen was when I was living with my niece Liz on Payne Road. Her daughter Jasmine and Owen were playmates. So we kind of had seen each other in the neighborhood. Anyway, he knocked on the door one day, and after we had made our introductions, I asked him what he had in his hands there. He said, "Well, I've got some playing cards here." And for this 8-year-old to have some playing cards in his hands, I'm like, "Well, tell me more about this, right?" And he said, "Well, I got a magic card trick." I'm like, "Okay, show me what you got." So he proceeded to show me a simple card trick that he'd been working on. But at the time, I knew that he was in my book, he was in with his card trick. You know, what a unique kid. But maybe, thinking about it, maybe I was in his book too. I don't know. But either way, that's how our relationship began. And I knew at that time that he was a very, very special kid. And as he grew up, he became one of the coolest guys I knew. You know what I mean. With a guitar, skateboard, his crazy hair, and his huge heart. This is not to say that he didn't have any peculiarities or shortcomings. We all do, right? So driving a car was never a big deal for Owen. He didn't get his license until well after his 16th birthday. How many of us got that call from him? Hey, can you give me a ride? Or simply, come pick me up, click. And he could pull that off, man. And he was not what you would call handy. The shoveling and scraping involved with the snowstorm today would not have been for him. He could not run a hammer or a paintbrush worth a damn. But you know, that was okay with me because after a while I knew he wasn't going to hurt his hands that he played that guitar with. So. And then one of my favorite memories of his with him was being part of a phone call to his grandpa, Mike Frisbee. Grandpa Mike had rock and roll cred. He was a Hall of Fame DJ here at KFMG here in Des Moines. Mike had long retired by this time. Owen played him Sunshine of Your Love by Cream. Mike was blown away, needless to say, by this 14-year-old grandkid, and they ended up chatting about rock and roll for some time after that. And that's just how Owen was, you know, to be able to bridge that gap and to have some commonality with Grandpa Mike. I thought that was just amazing. I could go on and on, but I'm looking forward to hearing your memories and sharing your stories. I'm moved so much by all the love shared by all of you that are in this room and by everybody that's here. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you've done. This morning I heard 10 years after, the name of the song is I'd Love to Change the World, and the lyrics are I'd love to change the world, but I don't know what to do. I'll leave that up to you. And I think that's how Owen would like that. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Dad. We'd love to open the mic up. Anyone else, if you want to raise your hand, if you want to come up, you're welcome to. I think Jeff's come in. Jeff, I think I just actually found this out. Jeff and I went to UNI together, and Jeff is Owen's cousin, and I'm sure we crossed paths and knew each other separately, but I don't think this is our first time, I think, sharing a stage.
Yeah, real quick. The last scene of SNL where the saxophone just plays, like this is that picture. I wish there was someone, there's a lot of guitarists here, but not any saxophone players. I certainly wasn't planning on speaking. But I felt compelled. Owen and I kind of reconnected towards the end. One of his favorite things that he would say is, "Oh, hell yeah, man, that's rad, let's do this." "Oh, yeah, man." And I'm certainly not trying to get on a soapbox. Owen had a huge heart, and he took on the weight of so many issues, so many different things that friends were conflicted with. And he bared that weight so hard. But he would never let you know it. And again, I'm not trying to be on a soapbox, but mental health is a very serious issue, one that he was aware of, one we should not carry alone. And please know, you shouldn't. You should not do this alone. And in the words of Owen, seeking out help, hell yeah, man, let's do it. I love you. It doesn't seem real. I will try to carry on that big heart. I certainly can't do the skateboard tricks, but I will try to carry on that mission. And if anyone here today needs a hug, please, please find me. Once I put this mask back on, you may not recognize me, but I am here. And I have hugs in the plenty. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah. I'll ask once more if anyone else wants to come and speak. Yeah, yeah.
Hi, my name's Alan, and Owen and I were fast friends for a lot of our life. I met him in high school. I was a junior, I believe he was a freshman, and we met through our love of music. Guitar club at Hoover High School was not a highly attended group. And in its introduction, when I was a sophomore the year before, everybody else in it was a senior. And so coming back junior year, I was like, we will see what happens. And in comes Owen, you know, that shit-eating grin that he wore so well, with, I believe, the guitar that's up here today. And Owen would say, hey man, how's it going? I'm Owen. We introduced ourselves, say, let's see what we can do. And this little freshman kid whips out his guitar and starts busting out Jimi Hendrix, Pearl Jam, every other 80s hard rock song you could ever imagine. I said, okay, I'm gonna run with this kid. This is a good guy. All the way through high school, we were inseparable. Megan and Tony, I'm sorry. This is probably the first you're gonna hear of this. I promptly returned your child home every night at curfew, as directed. The moment he would go in the door and we'd say our goodbyes, I'd swing around the block and sit on the other side of your house, waiting for Owen to climb out his bedroom window and return with me in the vehicle. Because in his words, the curfew is bullshit. Owen and I remained very close. He went to Iowa City after high school, and we stayed in constant contact. And the moment he got home, we were together again like we never missed a beat. Shortly after I finished college, Owen and I and another friend moved in together and lived together for 3 years. He was the greatest guy. You know, most people who live with somebody for 3 years, they probably can't stand one another, but Owen and I never had that feeling whatsoever. I was there when he got Olive. I remember him playing with that cat so dearly in our junky little duplex basement. I remember hosting Friendsgivings with him, and one sect of our friends brought over a mess of pumpkins and left them outside, and shortly out later came a gigantic mallet. And if you knew Owen, you knew those pumpkins weren't around any longer. I have fond memories of going to the Star Wars films with his aunt. There are some amazing parallels. Shortly after one of those Star Wars films, I also have Target stories. As we were just running for General House supplies, we say, oh shoot, let's just go down the toy aisle and see what looks good, you know, and me and him collectively spending $300 on a pair of lightsabers that we beat each other with until they no longer worked. On a whim, I remember looking at him and, should we do it? No, it's irresponsible. And then they were in the cart. Owen, I will miss you forever and always. For the last 10 years, more, you and me were with each other almost every day. I love you, and I'll miss you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Alan was also instrumental in helping us pull things together for today, so thank you so much, Alan, for sharing and helping us. Anyone else? Okay. I know public speaking is not for everyone, but everyone, we are going to stick around after this, so please come find family, find friends, reach out, share your stories. We all need to hear them. We all want to hear them. I will say, you know, I never lived with Owen. Owen and I didn't go to the same school. I'm 5 years older than Owen. So I was kind of out into college while he was still in high school. So we didn't get a lot of time together, you know, that kind of sibling time. One of my favorite memories is actually in our adulthood is going to Alan's house, and I don't know what we were doing, just hanging out, finally, being adults together, sitting outside, bonfire, having a couple drinks, just hanging out. And I was so looking forward to more of those in the next weeks and months, and I was ready to invite him down to St. Louis, and those are the things I'm mourning and missing right now. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for joining us today. Owen put a lot of love into this world. He's trying to make it a better place. He's gone, but that love is still here. When you miss Owen, because you know you will, just like Jeff said, please reach out. You're bound to find someone who loves Owen too. Just reach out. Thank you once more for being here. Thank you for everyone who joined us virtually. Thank you to this big crowd in this room today. Please stay as long as you like. There will be food out in the lobby. We'll ask you to stay seated here for a moment. Kelly and his extraordinary team is going to release everybody, but we'll be able to chat with y'all in a little bit. Thank you again.